Good day, everyone, and welcome to Kapnick Strive's October presentation on community care and social well-being. During our time together, we will explore the critical aspects of community care and how they are deeply interconnected with ours and others' social well-being. My name is Lexi, and I am joined by Emma and Leah, and we will be your presenters today. Our first slide takes us into the world of statistics surrounding social isolation and loneliness, particularly among adults aged 50 and older. While measuring these emotions precisely can be challenging, the evidence is clear. Many individuals in this age group face social isolation and loneliness, which significantly impacts their health. One finding is that social isolation significantly increases the risk of premature death from all causes. In fact, this risk may rival that of well-known health hazards like smoking, obesity, and physical inactivity. Another discovery is that social isolation is associated with a substantial 50% increased risk of developing dementia. This highlights the profound impact that loneliness can have on our cognitive health. And more than 35% of adults aged 45 and older in the United States report feeling lonely. And this is a problem that affects a significant portion of our older population. But it is not just mental health that's at risk. Poor social relationships characterized by social isolation or loneliness have been linked to 29% increased risk of incident coronary heart disease and 32% increased risk of stroke. And the effects of loneliness reach into that physical realm as well. So, in summary, the evidence is clear. Social isolation and loneliness have severe consequences for both mental and physical health. And addressing this issue is not only a matter of compassion, but a public health necessity. It's easy to fall into the trap of believing that our health is solely determined by the choices that we make, such as our diet, exercise, and lifestyle. And while our individual decisions certainly play a significant role, it's important to recognize that our health is the result of a complex interplay of factors extending far beyond personal choices. This broader perspective is often captured by the socio-ecological model, which emphasizes the multifaceted influences on our lives and our well-being, like social and physical environments. The social ecological model, or SEM for short, suggests that our personal well-being is shaped and intertwined by a combination of interconnected layers, each with its own unique impact. Today, we'll be unpacking the interpersonal and community levels that influence your health and well-being. Starting off on the interpersonal level, our health is significantly influenced by our relationships with friends, family, and colleagues. These social connections provide emotional support, encouragement, and a sense of belonging that can contribute to our mental and physical health and makes a world of difference in someone's life. These relationships are with the community level, as this is a large source of how individuals are able to develop social connections, collaboration, mutual support, and a sense of unity within our community. And when we think about support from organizations, institutions, and local policies, this support structure can facilitate access to resources and services that enhance the overall well-being of community members. And some examples of this include workplace flexibility, accessible public transportation, and community health clinics. And finally, at the outermost layer, community care encompasses broader cultural norms and values that shape the overall environment. Positive social norms can promote inclusivity, diversity, and social cohesion. And some examples could be inclusive education, gender equality, and environmental sustainability. So the synergy of it all is evident. When we nurture and support our communities at every level, we create an environment that promotes social well-being and individual health for all. So, what is community? It's a fundamental part of our lives, and understanding it can help us appreciate the diverse ways people connect and share their experiences. In its simplest form, it's a group of people with something in common. This shared factor can take many different forms. Families. Families form one of the most fundamental communities that we belong to. We share those bonds of whether we're born into it, heritage, or love. Geography, our physical location or place of residence can create a sense of community. And think about your neighborhood or the town you live in. Faith, religious communities are united by their beliefs, traditions, and spiritual values. Race, communities can be defined by shared race or ethnic backgrounds, creating connections based on cultural heritage. Life stage, so people in similar life stages, think of students, new parents, retirees, often form communities that share common experiences and challenges. And communities can also be built around shared interests, hobbies, or professions. These can range from sports clubs to online forums dedicated to specific topics. So speaking of that, community can come in various forms, each serving unique purposes and providing spaces for people to connect and belong. It can be a real place where people come together, like sports clubs, church groups, neighborhood associations, and various other community-based groups. These real-world communities foster face-to-face connections and shared experiences. Or, in our digital age, communities also thrive in virtual spaces. Social media platforms such as Facebook groups, Twitter communities, and private websites allow individuals from across the globe to connect and share their passions, interests, and concerns. So whether real or digital, large or small, communities are the threads that weave our social fabric, enriching our lives with diverse perspectives, support networks, and shared experiences. So in the next couple of slides, we'll delve into some of the reasons why community plays a pivotal role in our lives. Starting off, social connectedness. At its core, community provides a sense of belonging, fulfilling our basic human need for connection, acceptance, and identity. We can define social connectedness as the degree to which people have and perceive a desired number, quality, and diversity of relationships that create a sense of belonging, being cared for, valued, and supported. As inherently social creatures, we rely on our connections with others for our very survival. Our relationships with family, friends, coworkers, and community members have a profound impact on our health and well-being. And when we are socially connected and maintain stable and supportive relationships, the benefits are immense. Individuals in such circumstances are more likely to make healthy choices, experience improved mental and physical health outcomes. Moreover, they are better equipped to cope with the challenges life throws their way, including stress, anxiety, and depression. And there are many factors that create social connectedness. The quantity and quality of our relationships matter significantly, as well as the various roles these connections play in our lives. So building on our understanding of the importance of community, I'm going to pass the baton off to Emma, who will explore what it truly means to be socially connected.
Thank you, Lexi. So as Lexi said, being a part of a community and feeling socially connected means feeling that you belong to a group and generally feel close to other people. So being socially connected can look like the number, variety, and types of relationships a person has. It can look like having a sense of belonging, having meaningful and regular social exchanges, having more than one person to turn to for support, and having access to safe public areas to gather like parks and rec centers. Humans are a profoundly social species. Our drive to connect with others is embedded in our biology and evolutionary history. Scientists believe we are essentially wired to connect with other people because natural selection favored humans with a greater ability to care for their offspring and organize into groups. So simply said, our brains are wired to reach out and connect with others. When we connect, we improve our social well-being, feeling nurtured, supported, and that we belong. So how does your social well-being impact your overall health? Here's a quick little statistic on this slide. So according to the CDC, people with stronger social bonds have a 50% increased likelihood of survival than those who have fewer social connections. It's incredibly important to not only our health, but to our survival to make connections with other people. So in the next few slides, we're going to be talking about how social connectedness plays a role on our physical health and our mental health. So when you are not socially connected, the risks of being socially isolated and feeling lonely increase drastically. By definition, social isolation is the lack of relationships with others and little to no social support or contact. It's associated with risk even if people don't feel lonely. Loneliness is feeling alone or disconnected from others. It is feeling like you don't have meaningful or close relationships or a sense of belonging, and it reflects the difference between a person's actual and desired level of connection. This means that even a person with a lot of friends can feel lonely. Being socially isolated or lonely have been linked to increased risk for heart disease, stroke, and dementia by 50%. The positive impacts, on the other hand, of being socially connected are the promotion of healthy eating and physical activity, having improved sleep, well-being, prevention of death from chronic disease, and generally improved quality of life. Looking a little bit at social connectedness and mental health, people who feel more connected to others have lower levels of anxiety and depression. Moreover, studies show that they also have higher self-esteem, greater empathy for others, are more trusting and cooperative, and as a consequence, others are more open to trusting and cooperating with them. In other words, social connectedness generates a positive feedback loop of social, mental, and emotional, physical well-being. Unfortunately, the opposite is also true for those who lack social connectedness. So low levels of social connection are associated with declines in physical and psychological health, as well as a higher likelihood for antisocial behavior that leads to further isolation. This is why it's also important to look out for others in our community who may tend to experience isolation, including the elderly, those experiencing chronic or mental illnesses, those experiencing homelessness, adults living alone, and those in marginalized groups. I'm going to be passing this off to Leah to talk about caring for our community in times of need.
Thank you, Emma. Okay, so while you may not be reaping any of the physical or mental consequences of being socially disconnected, many of those in your community will. When it comes to caring for your community in times of need, stay informed to understand what's happening and how you can help. Whether that be keeping up to date with the news outlets, community websites, or other social media platforms that will help keep you in the loop to best support those in your community. Identify vulnerable individuals such as the elderly, disabled, or those without a strong support network and reach out. These populations are at an increased risk of not having adequate social connections, so try your best to be able to knock on their door and ask if they need anything. Give them a phone call to see if there's anything you can do. Anything helps, and you never know how one small act can change someone's perspective on life. Offer your time, skills, and resources to those in need. This can be volunteering at a local food bank or a homeless shelter, delivering meals to elderly, or helping homebound individuals who might be having difficulty preparing food or getting groceries. You can also organize or participate in fundraisers for a good cause, such as charity runs, bake sales, or silent auctions to raise funds for community projects or individuals in need, and offer your skills in subjects that you excel at by volunteering as a tutor for students in your community or by becoming a mentor to give and support individuals in their personal or professional development. You are not limited to this list, and it's important to remember that offering your time, skills, and resources not only benefits those in need, but also continues to foster a sense of community and personal fulfillment. It's an exceptionally meaningful way to contribute to the well-being of your neighbors in need and building stronger connections within your community. In case of emergencies, or if you're worried that a member of your community is experiencing a mental health crisis, scan the QR code for a direct link to the 988 Suicide Crisis Lifeline that provides 24-hour confidential support to anyone in suicidal crisis or emotional distress. Call or text 988 to connect with a trained crisis counselor. Next, we're going to move into some tips for improving your social well-being. So first things first, you should get involved with your community. So you can volunteer your time by helping out at local events, charities, or organizations that need an extra hand. Volunteering is also shown to boost your emotional well-being. If you don't know where to start, reach out to your local library or community center about opportunities. You can also attend local events such as fairs, markets, and festivals to have fun and support local businesses and artists. Next, utilize online engagement. It is definitely on the rise, so you can join local social media groups or forums to stay updated on events and connect with your neighbors. There are also online mutual aid groups where everyone works to provide for all members of the community. And if you can't find what you're looking for, you can always start your own group. Next, you can join a group, club, or class relating to an interest or hobby, such as a fitness class or a recreational sports league at your community center. Another way to get involved is to join a book club, gardening group, or find an art workshop that you are interested in. The opportunities are really endless, and if you don't know where to start, you can always check out your local paper, library, or recreation center, and Google really just works fine too. Next, you can shop locally. So find your local farmers market, shop at some independent stores in the area, and dine at local restaurants. You can get coffee locally and support different small businesses. And when you shop at home and locally, more money stays within your local economy. So you're really only further boosting your community. And then another thing you can do is support your local hometown sports teams and local bands. All right. So how to get involved? There are plenty of options for different ways to get involved, but some things you can do. You can download the Eventbrite app or visit the website using the QR code to find local event happenings near you. Meetup is another resource for finding community groups based on hobbies, interests, professions, and more. You can also visit your local community center, library, church, or any place that holds community gatherings to find groups or classes to join. You can find a new local restaurant or coffee shop. And even just talking to your neighbor or a stranger by buying a coffee is a great place to start and get involved. Sometimes it can feel uncomfortable to put ourselves in new situations, especially when we're meeting new people. However, it's a necessary step in building community and really just giving yourself grace, and don't be afraid to reach out to others. And then just some food for thought to leave you with is, how might your life be different if you become committed to becoming more actively engaged in your community? All right, and then don't forget to join us on November 29th from 12 to 12:30 to learn about navigating perfectionism, finding balance, and self-compassion. And thank you all for joining today.